Former Governor Andrew Cuomo testified today before a House committee that is accusing him of covering up nursing home deaths during the COVID-19 pandemic. 7 News reporter Lexi Bruning hears from local, state, and federal lawmakers.
It's been more than 4 years since the COVID-19 pandemic began, but on Capitol Hill, it's at the top of people's minds.
The witness will please stand and raise his right hand.
Former Governor Andrew Cuomo testified in front of a Republican-led House subcommittee on the coronavirus pandemic on Tuesday. The investigation into Cuomo's handling of the pandemic stems from an order issued in March of 2020 that initially kept nursing homes from turning away patients who'd had COVID. More than 9,000 recovering COVID patients were brought into nursing homes after being discharged from the hospital before the order was rescinded. Many people thought the order was accelerating outbreaks.
Even then, at the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of people scratched their head over that. Just because, that's like throwing a lit match into a pile of straw.
Cuomo began his opening statement pointing the blame at former President Donald Trump.
His lies and denials delayed our response, let the virus spread, and this country never caught up.
The testimony heated up during a back and forth between Congresswoman Elise Stefanik and Cuomo.
There is a reason why you were the former governor of New York State, and you will never hold elected office again. I yield back.
Congresswoman Claudia Tenney spoke with 7 News, calling the former governor a, quote, pathological liar.
He's now standing here, in my opinion, lying to Congress, which, by the way, is a crime. He is continuing to blame others instead of taking responsibility for these tragedies.
Assemblyman Ken Blinkenbush hopes Cuomo is held accountable.
I think what they were hoping with the Cuomo administration was that this was old history, that it was back and things would just smoothly go and forward, and he might not be held accountable to this. That's one of the reasons why that committee is pressing this.
According to data from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, the Tri-County region saw 92 COVID-related nursing home deaths from March 2020 through August of this year. Lexi Bruning, 7 News.